Every month there are a load of incredibly good iOS and Android games. I'm Falcon, and today on GameRanks, the 10 best free iOS and Android games of July 2017. Number 10 is Tales of the Rays. Yes, that's right, a Tales game, like a full-blown Tales game, custom tailored for mobile, and yes, custom tailored. Keep that in mind. This is definitely operating on a higher level than your average JRPG on a mobile phone. Now, is it absolutely as gorgeous as a Tales game? Not necessarily. It is a slightly lesser Tales, maybe like a Tales from a few years ago. That's definitely not a bad thing, though. The battle system's been streamlined, it's one touch. Now that doesn't mean it's non-complex or nerfed in any way. It is a really enjoyable battle system that pretty much works exactly like the full-fledged battle system with a slightly simplified control scheme. Now you will be encountering some freemium elements. They're not so bad, it ruins the experience, especially for a Tales fan, and in all honesty, this is really damn well close to what it says it is, and that's a full-scale Tales experience. Number 9 is Crusaders of Light, which is an MMORPG. The standard trappings of PvE and PvP are all here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm kind of saying that this should be something you play based on potential. It's not fully there yet. But an MMORPG, as you know, is always a work in progress, and this game is pretty much as close to AAA MMORPG you're gonna get on mobile. Yeah, it looks a little bit rudimentary, I'll say, kind of maybe like an older MMORPG, but it does actually have a bit of a charm to the graphics. It's not just lifeless crap, and there is absolutely a load of content in this game. On top of that, there's built-in voice chat, and the iOS and Android users all play together. There are a few things that need to be mopped up just a little bit, maybe put a little spit shine on it. It's a little rough in a couple places, but not enough to make it bad. I'm only being a little bit hard on it because it kind of has the potential to be the best mobile MMORPG, so hopefully they aren't done here. Number 8 is Fate Grand Order, a card-based RPG, which I'll say definitely does have some benefit if you already like the Fate series. However, all of the enjoyment isn't specifically derived from having characters show up you already know. It's actually a really solid game. It's not necessarily a brilliant story, but it is a competent story that is fun to progress through and satisfying as you progress through it. And the game kind of feels a bit like a visual novel in which you have a lot more control. This is definitely a very pretty game, great art in it, but the real standout thing is that this is a card game with a story and all of the trappings of a full RPG. However, it's actually the gameplay that makes you want to continue playing this game. In a lot of RPGs, the gameplay is often not the highlight, it's the story. However, this is definitely the other way around. This will addict you. It is a fun as hell card-based battler. Number 7 is Grand Prix Story 2, which is kind of like the cutesy version of the racing team management simulator. Don't be fooled by the looks though. This is an in-depth simulator that is a hell of a lot of fun. Now, I'll say the difference between this type of simulator and maybe a more realistic one is like the difference between computer SimCity and Super Nintendo SimCity. There's a lot more charm in this version, and it's a little less restricted by realistic things. However, the simulation aspect is in depth. If you're interested in the team building elements of simulation, this is particularly something that should be of interest to you. There's just something to being able to put together a team that wins. It's really satisfying and a hell of a lot of fun. Number 6 is Siege Titan Wars, which is going to remind you a lot of Clash Royale, however, much bigger in scale. It's kind of like if you take Clash Royale from a mini RTS and upgrade it to full mini MOBA. Now, I can tell you this is probably going to make it into my regular rotation as far as these games go, because it does provide an experience that you don't get with Clash Royale. But if you know how to play Clash Royale, you know how to play Siege Titan Wars. That's a benefit not a lot of games have, actually making a unique experience off of basically already known mechanics is damn near impossible to do, but they pulled it off, and this game is great. Number 5 is WWE Tap Mania, and yes, it is exactly what you think it is, and that's not a bad thing. This is a fun, detailed tap battler that if you like the tappers and you like the WWE, you're going to love. And I do mean love. Now, that being said, if you're not a fan of these things, it's not amazing. But even if you're not sure, I would recommend giving it a try. Yes, at times you may find it stupid, but it's going to end up satisfying you. It's one of those games that I don't know how it does it, but it's always keeping you on a line of progression that always feels satisfying. Say what you will about tappers, but not a lot of games can do that, period. So give it a shot. Number 4 is Valerian City of Alpha, which the game is a lot better than the movie. The movie was a big disappointment. The game, however, is a city management simulation based around the massive space station, and if you can kind of imagine a strategy game in which you don't really actually fight, that's basically what this is. It's a management simulation of basically space and space-related activities. And if you're looking for something that has a lot of battles in it, this is maybe not the way to go. But if you are looking towards the city management type stuff, this is exactly what you want. Number 3 is Mini DayZ, which is the official pixel art top-down version of DayZ, and it's better than DayZ. I don't know if you're gonna believe me on that or if you're gonna agree with me on that, but I enjoy this a hell of a lot more than I enjoy DayZ. It's a randomly generated map. You scrounge, you craft, you scavenge for ammo and food and supplies. And I don't know, there's just something about doing it in a top-down pixel art version that makes it better. I know there's gonna be somebody who's like, no, and that's fine. That's your taste and everything, but I have to say, if you are open to this, I think you may end up liking it better. I can't say for sure. I think DayZ fans will automatically like it, and I think that DayZ fans and vintage retro style gamers are going to love it. Number 2 is Leap On, which is kind of like the game version of, you know, the ping pong paddles with a rubber band keeping a ball on the paddle. It's kind of like that except with obstacles. And that sounds maybe dumb, but it's not. You need to play this game. It's something that I think seems like it should have been obvious from a long time ago. Like, I don't know why this didn't happen already, but it really, really works. It's incredibly satisfying. All of the physics are really tight. The animations are great, wonderfully stylized, and I love the soundtrack to it. It just works perfectly. This is one of those games that is so top-notch. It's like, why didn't this happen already? And finally, number 1 is Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow. Now, here's the thing that I think Futurama does incredibly well. Whether or not you are a fan of Futurama, basically any Futurama media will eventually make you laugh. It's one of those things that just manages to make fans out of anybody. And here we have an adventure game that has kind of Final Fantasy style combat in it, as well as building and customization elements. It's really kind of a big hybrid game that tells an original story that, yes, was written by the Futurama writers and voiced by the voices. And honestly, I think this game brings the charm in a way that I think the Family Guy version of this game really didn't. And I feel like this is more fun and there's more reason to play it. It's good stuff. I highly recommend it. Which one was your favorite game this month? Leave a comment. If you like this video, do us a big favor and click like. And if you're not subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on GameRanks.